Welcome! If you clicked on this video, it's because you're ready to learn about 3 moments when the power of Iron Mike made him write his name in the golden pages of boxing history. But before continuing, I recommend discretion. The level of violence you're about to witness is unprecedented, and despite the years, has because the show is about to begin. Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinx. The fight was billed as once and for all, a showdown between 2 undefeated fighters, each with a legitimate claim to the World Heavyweight Championship. Tyson was defending his IBF heavyweight title for the 4th time, his WBA heavyweight title for the 6th time, and his WBC heavyweight title for the 7th time. Meanwhile, Spinx was defending his heavyweight title from the Ring magazine for the 4th time. The winner of this bout would hold exclusive possession of the title. Mike's professional record of 34 wins, with 30 of them coming by way of knockout, was undoubtedly intimidating. Spinx, despite not holding an alphabet title coming into the fight, was regarded as the lineal world heavyweight champion, having defeated Larry Holmes for the title and never losing it in the ring. His record of 31 wins with 21 by knockout certainly seemed to threaten Iron Mike's undefeated status. But the fact that he hadn't fought in 12 months, the longest pause in his career, could work against him. On June 27, 1988, the fighters met in the ring at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey to face their destiny. 12 rounds were scheduled, but it would take less than one to produce an outcome worthy of being immortalized in the history books of boxing. With Frank Cappuccino as the 3rd man in the ring, the bout began. Round 1. As soon as the opening bell rang, Tyson lunged at Spinx. At these early moments, Mike landed a left hook that connected with the top of Spinx's head. After the fight, Tyson claimed to have seen fear in Spinx's eyes after this initial taste of action. For Spinx, survival immediately became more important than victory. That's when he began to clinch Tyson. In the first clinch, Cappuccino intervened upon noticing that the laces of one of Tyson's gloves were pressing heavily against Spinx's throat.
And now Cappuccino.
After an awkward attempt to separate them, Spinx tried to back off when a left uppercut snapped his head back. Spinx hadn't even finished reacting to this nearly lethal punch when a short, spinning right hook caught him just below the heart. As a result, it marked the first knockdown of his professional career. Spinx fell to one knee, and Cappuccino had no choice but to start the standing count. He counted to the mandatory 8, only to ask Spinx if he was okay while staring directly into his eyes. After resuming the fight, Tyson renewed his attack. Spinx tried to defend himself with a right hand, but it lacked power and was executed sluggishly. Over that insecure right hand of Spinx, Tyson threw a left hook, targeting the shoulder. The momentum of Spinx's own punch caused his head to drop forward and downward, activating Mike's killer instinct as he unleashed a deadly right hand. This murder attempt traveled in an arc at waist level and caught Spinx at his strongest point, right on the jaw. Just look at this scene.
Michael Spinx has ever been down in a professional fight.
And he's down again.
No man could have withstood it. Immediately, Spinx's legs buckled and his eyes rolled back. Then, he fell backward with his arms outstretched. As Cappuccino started to count, Spinx tried to stand up, but once he began to rise, he collapsed onto his right side. By the time Cappuccino reached 10, Spinx's head was being held up by the bottom rope. Mike Tyson versus Donovan Ruddock, the second background. On March 18, 1991, Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock stepped into the ring at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, to set the stage for the main event between these 2 fighters. At the time, Tyson entered the fight as the #1 heavyweight contender for the WBC, WBA, and IBF, closely followed by Ruddock, who was ranked number 2. Richard Steele was supposed to referee 12 rounds of good boxing. However, just over half of these rounds were needed for a clear and painful victory by Iron Mike. After completely taming him in the earlier rounds, Tyson stopped Ruddock with a flurry of punches that made him stagger, leading Steele to decide that the Canadian couldn't withstand any more punishment from Mike's fists.
He threw his bomb. Oh, all right. Good shot. He just doesn't quite get there.
There's a left by Tyson.
Making some steam out of Tyson.
Ruddock coming back. Now Tyson with a big left.
Just then,
Tyson has Ruddock on the rope.
if Tyson applies the pressure, he's got him where
Thus, Tyson was declared the winner by TKO at 2 minutes and 22 seconds of the 7th round. The fight. On June 28, 1991, the long-awaited rematch took place. Once again, Mike entered the fight as the #1 heavyweight contender for the WBC, WBA, and IBF. Due to his previous loss, Ruddock's status had been affected. and he was only holding on to the number 2 heavyweight contender spot for the WBC. Once again, the fighters were set for 12 tough rounds of good boxing at the Mirage Hotel and Casino to prove, in the rematch, who the absolute winner was. With Mills Lane as the new referee, the fight began. Fight summary: Tyson wasted no time being aggressive from the start, cornering Ruck on more than one occasion. Ruck was dramatically thrown to the canvas in the 2nd and 4th rounds, which began to frustrate him. His frustration became evident at the end of the 8th round when he hit Mike after the bell, leaving Lane with no choice but to deduct a point. From this point on, Tyson's rage became irrational. In both the 9th and 10th rounds, Mike had points deducted for low blows. This raised doubts about Tyson's ability to win on the judges' scorecards.
Uppercut, 2 nice uppercuts by Razor running. Oh, low blow, low Lane, and that cost him 1 point.
Ruck showed great resilience by finishing the fight standing, and with the sound of the final bell, there was nothing more to add.
So don't go away. This is heavyweight action at its best. Not many. Certainly not many. A good hammering right hand. And then Ruck answers with a low blow as the bell sounds.
When the announcer took the center of the ring, Mike's continued aggressiveness was the key asset that secured his victory by unanimous decision from the judges. Mike Tyson versus Tyrell Biggs. Back in 1986, when Iron Mike was still a freshly oiled young knockout machine, Tyrell Biggs was not one to withstand his power for long. On November 22nd, in the ring at the Las Vegas Hilton, Berbick was set to defend his WBC heavyweight title for the first time. Unfortunately, with none other than Mills Lane as a witness, he was unsuccessful. Fight summary. From the opening bell, Mike came out of his corner like a predator ready to give it all for his prey, and in this case, Trevor wasn't his prey. The title was.
Jab to the face. Tyson will come right through him. Tyson with a poor fight plan. Oh, the right hand gets him behind. You get the idea that Mike, as soon as, right hand, but the left hooks him, clips him with the left hand. Look at this, combination, and Berbick ready to go, but he stays on his feet. Again he's gone, catches him with a hook. Trevor's ready.
Berbick was just an obstacle between him and his goal, and Mike knew what had to be done to remove him. Learning what he needed about his opponent during the first round, while attacking to reaffirm his stance as the challenger, the real damage came in the second round. With a series of punches ending with a left hook, Tyson, the young knockout machine, dropped Berbick to the canvas. Like an inanimate object, the soon-to-be ex-champion fell flat on his back, but quickly rose and, with a signal, assured Lane that he was well enough to continue. However, he wasn't. When the fight resumed, Berbick tried to tie Tyson up in clinches to stop his lethal offensive. In one break, he even earned himself a warning from Lane after landing a cheap shot. These were just his dying kicks. The end ironically came at the end of the round. A deadly left hook from Tyson struck Berbick's temple, and after a delayed reaction, he fell once more. Berbick tried to stand up but couldn't.
Heavyweight champions of all time. Bangs the body. Wow, that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down.
His efforts resembled a genuine Dantean scene as Lane reached the end of the count. Surprisingly, at the count of 9, Berbick dared to tempt fate and stand up. Yet, after a quick glance, Lane knew. It was just an involuntary reflex of his fighting spirit. After an embrace, Lane saved his life by stopping the fight. With this, Iron Mike made history by becoming the youngest heavyweight champion ever. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Which of these historic demonstrations of Mike Tyson's legendary power was your favorite? Which other one do you think I should include in a second part of this video? I'll be reading your comments. Many heads and entire bodies rolled across the ring when they dared to face the lethal knockout machine, Iron Mike. But in today's video, I bring you the names of those who were sentenced to the death chamber just by being announced as Mike Tyson's next opponents. The last of them agonized for years before karma dealt him the final blow. Want to know who it is? Stay tuned until the end. Content: Mike Tyson versus Ricardo Spain. It was June 1985, and the name of an unstoppable warrior was beginning to echo around fight rings worldwide. Mike Tyson. With an undefeated record of 3 knockout victories, Tyson made his televised debut against Ricardo Spain, in what was also his first fight scheduled for more than 4 rounds. The fight was on the preliminary card of Jesse Ferguson versus Tony Anthony, but it would steal much of the night's spotlight. Spain's record was announced as 7 victories, with 5 of them achieved by the hard way, knockout, without any defeats. Everyone at Resorts International, Atlantic City, New Jersey was questioning whether Spain's strength would be enough to defeat a Tyson who refused to lose. With Joe O'Neill as the third man in the ring, the contest began. First round. As soon as the bell rang, Tyson came out aggressively, throwing combinations to both the body and head. A right hand during an exchange made Spain lose his balance and hit the canvas just 18 seconds into the fight.
Seen in his brief pro career hit like a steam hammer. Now, Ricardo Spain.
Spain, who also seemed to refuse to lose, used the ropes to get back on his feet and was fully recovered by O'Neill's 8 count. When the fight resumed, a strong left hook at 36 seconds sent Spain crashing down to the mat, right in the center of the ring. This time, without even starting the count, O'Neill ended the fight. At 39 seconds of the first round, in a fight scheduled for 6, Mike Tyson scored an astonishing knockout victory over Ricardo Spain. Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno the Q. Background: Tyson and Bruno first met in a professional boxing ring on February 25, 1989. At that time, Mike, already the youngest heavyweight champion in history, was defending his titles. As the undisputed champion, it was the first defense of the Ring Magazine's World Heavyweight title, the 5th defense of the International Boxing Federation's World Heavyweight title, the 7th defense of the World Boxing Association's World Heavyweight title, and the 8th defense of the World Boxing Council's World Heavyweight title. That day, in the ring of the Hilton Center, Las Vegas, a true massacre took place. Tyson dominated Bruno from the start, finally finishing him by technical knockout at 2 minutes and 55 seconds of the 5th round.
Bruno was caught that time, and Tyson knows it. Tyson trying to attack now to finish him off. Big trouble now. He's ready to go. He hits him with a right hand. Gives him room to come off the ropes. Scores with the uppercut. Lands a big right hand. Bruno's in. He's still in big trouble. The uppercut catches him. The right hand catches him. As the big right hand lands, Tyson knows he's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it, Richard Steele.
The rematch years would pass, but neither fighter would forget the unfinished business between them, their rematch. On March 16, 1996, at the MGM Grand Ring in Las Vegas, destiny called them to settle the score. This time, the roles had dramatically reversed. Now, Tyson was the challenger, while Bruno had to defend his World Boxing Council heavyweight title for the first time. Although Tyson wasn't expected to be the bigger figure that night, his purse reached a whopping $30 million, while Bruno's was set at $6. That's respect. This was Tyson's 3rd fight since being released from prison, and skeptics still questioned whether he had what it took to become heavyweight world champion once again. With Mills Lane as the 3rd man in the ring, the Beast, Iron Mike, came out to feast. Rematch summary. From the sound of the opening bell, Tyson offered the crowd a violent spectacle. For 2 full rounds, Tyson pressured the champion, who refused to let go of the belt until it became inevitable that he would succumb to defeat.
Every time he comes in, he's an older. He's not Tyson under control of the belt. He'll be very angry. And that Bruno doesn't have the foot speed to compete.
Didn't seem to do anything, but it was a nice effort.
And anytime, oh, here comes Tyson. Tyson with a combination with 20
rounds, I guarantee you.
Oh, a left hook by Mike Tyson, flush on the face of Frank Bruno. Another left and a...
In the 3rd round, a barrage of punches, starting with a terrifying left hook and ending with 7 unanswered blows, sent Bruno against the ropes, forcing him to hand over his WBC heavyweight title to the controversial Iron Mike.
Here's a combination uppercut. Bruno expected. He said he's not looking for the Tyson. Tyson laying it on, pouring it on. Down goes Bruno.
After witnessing the massacre, Lane had no choice but to stop the fight after just 50 seconds as Bruno sat on the bottom rope, absorbing punches. Mike Tyson versus Tyrell Biggs. Tyrell Biggs may have had success in the 1984 Olympic Games, but unknowingly, that was also the year he sealed his fate and brought upon himself the worst karma that could exist, becoming Mike Tyson's #1 enemy. You see, Mike's dream had always been to become an Olympic gold medalist in the super heavyweight division, making his nation proud. But when the trials for the Olympic team began, his size raised doubts about his power, and he was ultimately left off the team. Resigned, he went to the airport to wish the team good luck, unaware that there, thanks to Tyrell Biggs, he would suffer one of the greatest humiliations of his boxing career. In front of everyone, including the press and fans, Biggs joked about not knowing why Mike was there, since he wouldn't be boarding the plane with them. These words were etched into Tyson's memory, and he would soon turn to professional boxing, becoming a true knockout machine while waiting for the Olympic gold medalist to cross his path again. They say time waits for no one, and on October 16, 1987, Mike had the most important appointment of his life up to that point. He was set to step into the ring at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey to face Tyrell Biggs. Undoubtedly, things had gone well for Mike. He was entering his first defense of the International Boxing Federation heavyweight title, the third defense of the World Boxing Association heavyweight title, and the fourth defense of the World Boxing Council heavyweight title. With an undefeated record of 31 victories, 27 of them by knockout, Iron Mike had already proven that he didn't need an Olympic gold medal to carve his name into the golden pages of boxing history. Tyrell, who had not long ago turned professional, entered the ring to challenge Mike with an impressive record of 15 victories, 10 of them by knockout. Biggs stoked the flames of Tyson's resentment by making controversial statements before the fight. According to Biggs, he had known Mike from before and knew he wasn't indestructible. To Tyrell, Tyson's undefeated record was because he had never faced a real fighter, someone like him. With Tony Orlando as the third man in the ring in a fight scheduled for 15 rounds, the battle commenced. Fight summary. From the start of the fight, Iron Mike became the clear aggressor. From the first round, Mike Tyson's left hook became the appetizer, main course, and dessert for a Biggs who seemed to be at an all-you-can-eat feast.
He's thrown. Well, whatever he does, he's trying for the head. Now we see him. Good shot by Tyson. This is a jab again. And come with that right hand. That was a quick little overhand right. It was 5 years ago, but he really bothered me. There is the hook again because
Throughout the rounds, Biggs truly struggled to keep up with the pace that Tyson comfortably dictated. Like a predator to its prey, it seemed as though Mike was merely playing with him before delivering the death sentence.
Best punch of the fight. That was the left hook, Barry. That was the left hook I was talking about. Georgie Fitz would say, keep those hands high. Right. Again, same thing. 1, 2. And he throws it.
The outcome of this fateful match came in the 7th round when, finally, Biggs had had enough. It was another one of Tyson's epic left hooks that sent the Olympic gold medalist's head back to his corner, his body collapsing on the canvas with his feet in the air.
But he didn't put him away. Help. Oh, that was
Biggs was just 1 second away from being able to rest and mark 8 rounds on his feet, but it wasn't his day.
no legs at all. That's it. He is gone right now. He has 10 seconds to go in a round. There's a left hand. He's down again. It's over.
At 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the 7th round, Mike Tyson defeated Tyrell Biggs by technical knockout. Mike may live with the bitter taste of feeling that Biggs's gold medal could have been his, but he surely rests easy knowing he proved he was better than the one chosen for his lack of suitability for the sport. Closing. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. What other fight where Iron Mike's opponent lost before even stepping into the ring would you like to see in a second part of this video? Let me know in the comments. Mike Tyson is one of the few ring warriors who doesn't need to get his hands dirty to win a battle. However, Mike's behavioral record has occasionally been tainted by reckless decisions made in moments when adrenaline clouds reason. Welcome! In today's video, we'll relive the controversial fight between Mike Tyson and Francois Botha, the night when a couple of bones were seconds away from breaking. It was 1999, and it seemed Tyson was ready to leave the scandals of the old millennium behind for this fight. Tyson had recently fought a second controversial match against Evander Holyfield, and you may wonder how this jump in time was possible. You see, starting in June of 1997, Mike was suspended for a whole year and was out for a year and a half before facing Botha. For this fight, Tyson was trained by Tommy Brooks. Brooks was known and respected for his roster of fighters, which included none other than Evander Holyfield, aside from being the 1975 National Middleweight Champion of the Amateur Athletic Union, so greatness was expected from his part. And on January 16, 1999, in the ring at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, Mike had to prove he was up to the task. The fight, it was scheduled for 10 rounds. Botha entered as the number 2 heavyweight contender by the International Boxing Federation. The White Buffalo held an impressive record of 39 wins, 24 of them knockouts, with only 1 loss. Undoubtedly, a record worthy of facing a fighter like Mike, who, at the time of the fight, already held 45 wins, 39 by knockout, and only 3 losses. Would the White Buffalo be fiercer than Iron Mike, condemning him to a 4th setback in his career? That was the question that hung in the air when the fight was announced. The judges were Dalby Shirley, Bill Graham, and Dave Moretti. These personalities had the tough task of declaring a winner based on their analyses and perspectives if neither fighter's power could claim victory before the end of the scheduled rounds. Luckily, Iron Mike's beastly fury was at its peak after being caged for a year and a half. With the legendary Richard Steele as the 3rd man in the ring, this epic fight took place. Round 1. Botha's right broke the ice, to which Tyson quickly responded with his left. The White Buffalo continued testing Mike's defense with powerful combinations to the body that seemed to fail to break through.
He hadn't started as fast as everybody, quietly waiting for his opening. There's 1, 2.
Eventually, Tyson's powerful left began to cause damage. Less than a minute into the fight, the clash of power between the fighters led to controversial clinches.
Smith dancing. And I'm starting.
Blood on the head of Mike Tyson. Botha have the ability to combat this. Botha certainly doesn't look afraid. He's standing right in there.
Botha continued attacking Mike's body and head, occasionally landing solid punches. Although towards the end, the round didn't look good for Tyson. Things turned darker when, in a clinch break, he seemed to attempt to break Botha's arm.
Everything Mike does.
Scheduled for 10. Botha off to a
Avoiding.
tremendous.
The White Buffalo inevitably cried out in pain, and Steele acted quickly before things escalated. Just before the bell, Tyson's face had to absorb a powerful right due to his actions. Even after the round ended, Steele seemed unable to break the clinch. Therefore, ring security had to step in and break the scene. Mike was taken to his corner by his team, while Botha was quickly attended by his own. After the intense moment, it seemed the White Buffalo had been quickly weakened. Round 2. Both fighters came out for the second round, and Mike's left quickly pushed Botha against the ropes. The intensity of Mike's offense had doubled, and it seemed like a clean fight until, less than 20 seconds into the round, another controversial clinch took place. Once again, Tyson seemed to attempt to twist Botha's arm, this time his left. Steele, outraged, handled the situation better. After the break, Mike went for another controversial clinch, leaving Steele no choice but to dock a point on the judges' cards. Both fighters continued the round with brief exchanges, which ended in clinches. With Mike attacking the body and head, the White Buffalo seemed unsure how to contain the offense.
Because there's fire. It might for Tyson, he gotta get.
Toward the end of the round, Botha was really trying to keep a safe distance, while Tyson's eyes blazed. After the bell, once again, chaos reigned in the ring. Clinched, a brief struggle required Steele's intervention. Fortunately, both fighters showed more willingness to return to their corners.
And again, a left hook to the jaw by Tyson.
Both of them might do to him, and the layoff has hurt his.
This is an alley fight, a street fight.
This is the kind that took the streets.
However, in slow-motion replay, it was clear Tyson was going for Botha's head, using his elbow. Round 3. At the start of the third round, Mike jumped on Botha, forcing him to retreat to the ropes. The White Buffalo, who was now keeping a greater distance, counterattacked occasionally. However, the clinches quickly reappeared. After a few dozen seconds into the clash, it was clear Botha was exhausted. In contrast, it seemed Iron Mike's battery was still fully charged. Dirty or clean, depending on perspective, it was clear Tyson was the clear aggressor in the fight.
Under a minute,
Mike Tyson.
Tyson looks fatigued already, exhausted.
Let him go, Mike. Let him go.
Both fighters.
What takes toll is the emotion of getting into a fight rather than a boxing match. You can box all night long. When you get a...
Let him go, Mike. Let him go.
Remaining, round 3.
After the bell, the fighters finally returned to their corners without overstepping boundaries. Round 4. The round had barely begun when Botha kept his distance while Tyson followed closely, threatening to go on the offensive. It seemed the White Buffalo was being lured, and to keep his opponent from getting close, he extended his left arm. Inevitably, his body had to absorb some of Mike's powerful combinations.
Crowd reacts.
and loves it. Following Brooks's instructions.
Mike is not jabbing 30. That's the key to this fight.
The key to the fight is he better listen.
Botha tried to counterattack, but he was too exhausted to perform well. It was then that Tyson's left hooks began to have more impact.
And in it, I'll tell you what, I don't like fighters that it's a non-combative posture.
If it's long, it will be a guy is just walking around, kind of looking at him, making fun.
Lean long.
Round 5. Once again, Tyson pushed Botha against the ropes at the start of the 5th round. The White Buffalo's attacks seemed to shine for an instant, but it was only the last breath of an animal already near its end. Despite absorbing blows to his head, Mike didn't seem to lose focus. When Tyson began to attack seriously, it was Botha who opted to clinch. Between keeping his distance and clinching Tyson, the White Buffalo seemed to be buying time to survive another round. His plan seemed to be working. Despite being severely battered by Mike, only 15 seconds remained, and he could return to his corner to recover. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a bloody right hook, straight to the face, extinguished any spark of Botha's victory. The White Buffalo had been neutralized, like an animal put to sleep. Botha fell dramatically to the mat, irreversibly.
Mark of a shot fighter when you can't get off.
After the scene unfolded, there was only one thought in the air. It only took one punch, and he might not get up. Steele began the safety count as Botha's pride forced him to make inhuman efforts to get up. He stood up at the count of 9, but he had no stability. Even before Steele waved his arms, signaling the end of the fight, the White Buffalo began to stumble backward as if he had turned into a crab. The animal was dying, and fortunately, he was caught by the ropes before needing Steele's or Iron Mike's assistance. The author of this reaction. After attention shifted from the dying White Buffalo, everyone at the MGM Grand could realize what this truly meant. It only took one right hand. The legend Iron Mike was back. At the doorstep of a new millennium, Mike Tyson seemed to have much more to offer the sport. Now, at 32, the youngest heavyweight champion in the world wasn't ready to retire yet. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, there's no better way to support my content than by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Mike's victory was cleanly executed? Do you believe Botha's performance would have been different without the irregular events during the clinches? I'd love to read your opinion in the comments. See you there. Iron Mike, throughout his professional boxing career, proved to be a true knockout machine, but there was no deadlier moment than when he was freshly primed. In today's video, we'll relive some of Mike's matches where he left his opponents in agony and their trainers begging for mercy. You won't believe the last one. Stay until the end to test how strong your stomach is while witnessing tragic scenes of regulated torture within the rules of the ring, where the strongest prevails. Cryos. Tons, the cunt Mike Tyson versus Pinklon Thomas. We begin this journey of pain and despair for Tyson's opponents with a stop on May 30th, 1987. By that time, Mike had already made history as the youngest heavyweight champion ever. He was defending the WBC heavyweight title for the second time, and for the first time, the WBA heavyweight title. For this new challenge in his career, the contender was none other than Pinklon Thomas. In the ring at the Las Vegas Hilton Outdoor Arena, Thomas felt he had a good chance of dethroning the newly crowned monarch, but reality couldn't have been further from his perspective. With Carlos Padilla as the third man in the ring for a scheduled 12-round match, the bout began. Pros. Tal fight summary. From the very first round, Tyson displayed his ferocious nature. His ruthless offense nearly disabled Thomas early on, though it wasn't enough to secure victory.
You may see that Mike Tyson still works. He still throws punches. He's not to unload that jab. Give him angles. Don't think about that as he comes in. He feigns left, he feigns right. There's a big left hand by Tyson, but Thomas is all right. Well, I stated earlier, the key to this punch for pick of Thomas's jab. He has not thrown the left jab to keep going.
His legs are not rock solid at this moment either. Cut under the left eye of Thomas. There's another left hand.
Thomas's jab tactics, along with clinching as a last resort to buy time in the ring, forced Tyson to scrape for a way to position himself for the decisive blow to end his opponent's agony.
And that's what he's trying to keep Rooney's toe.
Started to say swelling on both cheeks. There's a good jab again.
For the champion, the solution came abruptly in the 6th round. A relentless right hook to the body hurt Thomas, followed by a devastating right uppercut to the chin. This was one of the young Knockout Machine's favorite punching sequences, and one of the most damaging to his adversaries. However, what ended the Pink Man was a diabolical left hook straight to the head, leaving him in serious trouble. When the left hook landed, Thomas stumbled backward with a bloodthirsty Tyson still in pursuit. Tyson unleashed his relentless fists once again, hammering his already broken challenger with lefts and rights until he collapsed onto his back.
Trouble again, and now Tyson moves in for the kill. 2 uppercuts and a left hand, and a right hand behind it. Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble, and down he goes.
Thomas's eyes were glassy, and blood streamed down his face. Padilla leaned over him and began the safety count. By the count of 9, Thomas's trainer, Angelo Dundee, had climbed into the ring, signaling frantically for the fight to end. At 2 minutes into the 6th round, Mike Tyson was officially declared the winner over Pinklon Thomas via a devastating technical knockout. Mike Tyson versus Larry Holmes, continuing Iron Mike's path of terror. Our next stop takes us to January 22nd, 1988. By this time, Tyson had already defended his titles once more, adding another jewel to his crown, while challengers continued lining up for a chance to dethrone him. For the second defense of his IBF heavyweight title, the 4th of his WBA heavyweight title, and the 5th of his WBC heavyweight title, the challenge took shape in the legendary Larry Holmes, a warrior both in body and spirit. At just 21 years old, Tyson was 17 years younger than the 38-year-old Holmes. This fight was expected to be the ultimate test of whether youth's vitality outweighed experience in the ring. However, the odds didn't seem to favor Holmes, who had been out of the ring for 21 months. Choosing Tyson as his return opponent was arguably one of the biggest mistakes of his professional career. With Joe Cortez as the 3rd man in the ring, the 12-round match was set to begin. From the first second of the fight, Tyson, already recognized as the undisputed champion, reaffirmed his dominance by taking an aggressive stance.
Larry trying to box him. Can that left jab keep him away? So far, Tyson is coming through it. Tyson showing no respect so far, pouring in the way he always does. Larry not an awesome fighter in this the first round.
During the first 3 rounds, the young Knockout Machine dismantled Holmes to the point of stripping away his fighting spirit.
Referee. One of the big questions, if in fact Larry can nail Tyson.
However, it wasn't until the 4th round that Tyson's fearsome fists delivered the coup de grace. A powerful right hand put Holmes in serious trouble. The hellish punch landed squarely on his chin, sending him crashing into Tyson's corner.
Holmes cannot continue that round after round. Oh, a big right!
Cortez started the count, and Holmes was on his feet by 4, clutching the ropes as the mandatory 8 count was completed. Shaking his head a couple of times to clear his senses, Holmes stepped away from the ropes, only to face Tyson charging at him once again. Euphoric, Tyson unleashed lefts and rights, relentlessly searching for an opening to seal Holmes' fate. Suddenly, another devastating right hand sent Holmes bouncing off the ropes and collapsing onto the canvas. Stubbornly, he was back on his feet by Cortez's count of 5. As the fight resumed, Tyson seemed determined to finish things. He threw punch after punch, some landing so cleanly that Holmes' head snapped back dramatically. At this point, Holmes' corner could be heard pleading for mercy, shouting for the fight to stop. Yet Cortez allowed the nightmare to continue as Holmes tried to evade Tyson's relentless assault while the champion pursued him. Another powerful right hand sent Holmes crashing to the canvas, and as his lifeless body hit the ground, Cortez waved the fight off.
Come inside, there's the left, there's the right. Larry's ready to go again. He's hit with the left hand. He should be hanging on. Now with the right hand, the left hand. He's gonna hang on, or they'll stop the fight. Down he goes. He is knocked out. Larry's hurt. It's all.
At 2 minutes and 55 seconds into the fourth round, Mike Tyson was officially declared the winner over Larry Holmes via a dramatic technical knockout. Tyson retained his titles, but in the opposing corner, the recovery from this brutal episode was anything but easy. Holmes did not fight for over 3 years following this loss, eventually returning to professional boxing in 1991 and retiring for good in 2002. Saaters Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno. More than a year later, it was Frank Bruno's turn to endure torment in the ring. On February 25, 1989, Bruno challenged Mike in a do-or-die bout for his titles. This time, Tyson wasn't just defending the WBC, WBA, and IBF heavyweight titles, but also the prestigious Ring Magazine heavyweight title. In the ring at the Las Vegas Hilton Center, a 12-round display of skilled boxing was promised, but it took less than half that time to reach its tragic yet thrilling conclusion. With Richard Steele as the third man in the ring, the course of history continued to unfold. From the first round, Tyson was hailed by the sports press in the following days as a true professional fighter. His energy was compared to that of James Jeffries, who set the record for the fastest knockout in history against Jack Finnegan in 1900. Bruno hit the canvas almost before the timekeeper could drop his hammer. After getting back to his feet, the fight turned into a real clash royale.
Bruno has all the pride of England standing for him. He gets tagged again by a right hand. He's trying to hang on to Mike. All the questions about distractions have been answered as Tyson attacks. By catching him in the first round, he's nailed. The right hand catches Bruno. Left hook. Bruno looks ready to go.
The end came in the fifth round when Tyson landed a pair of short but devastating uppercuts. At that moment, Bruno's nose began to bleed. In retaliation, Bruno managed to land 2 punches to Tyson's ribs, but seconds later, the countdown to his defeat began.
Throughout a good portion of the fight against Al. Bruno was caught that time, and Tyson knows it. Tyson trying to attack now to finish him off. And Bruno's in big trouble now. He's ready to go. Tyson gives him room to come off the ropes. Scores with the uppercut. Lands a big right hand. He hits him with a right hand. Bruno trusts he can. He's still in big trouble. The uppercut catches him. The right hand catches him. He's really being hit now.
First came a powerful left hook to the jaw, sending Bruno against the ropes near Tyson's corner. There, the champion pounced on his challenger like a predator on its prey. Bruno, already defenseless, endured punches as forceful as a lumberjack striking down a tree. After 4 or 5 powerful blows to the head, referee Richard Steele stepped in.
As the big right hand lands, Tyson knows a fighter cannot be saved by the bells. He's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it, Richard Steele has moved in and has stopped the fight.
By the time the fight was stopped, Bruno's trainer, Terry Lawless, was already stepping through the ropes to save his fighter. At 2 minutes and 55 seconds into the fifth round, Mike Tyson completely shattered Frank Bruno's aspirations and was declared the winner of the bout. Mike Tyson versus Trevor Berbick. Have you ever heard the legend of Trevor Berbick and how he was knocked out in just over 5 minutes after stepping into the ring against Iron Mike? This moment dates back to November 22, 1986, the night Mike Tyson made history by becoming the youngest heavyweight champion ever. But that's already a spoiler. In the ring at the Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas, Berbick faced the daunting task of defending his WBC heavyweight title for the first time. But with Tyson as his challenger, it was nothing short of a suicide mission. With Mills Lane as the third man in the ring, the beginning of the end for Berbick's brief reign was set in motion. Fight summary. Mike came out in the first round hungry for victory. Despite setting the pace and cornering the champion, the real damage came in the second round.
Bruno here, standing toe-to-toe is not the way. This is a poor fight plan. Oh, the right hand gets him. Notice the lazy left. Watch Tyson load up with left and right. You get the idea that Mike, as soon as, a right hand, but the left hook is Berbick, and Tyson clips him with the left hand. Look at this, combination, and Berbick ready to go.
Tyson, the young knockout machine, ruthlessly sent Berbick to the canvas with a devastating series of punches that ended with a powerful left hook, leaving the champion no choice but to fall helplessly onto his back.
Championship of the world, Trevor Berbick and Mike Tyson. Tyson goes to work right away, and he gets Trevor in trouble, and he's...
To everyone's surprise, Berbick got up and signaled to referee Mills Lane that he was fine to continue. Perhaps this was the best display of resilience in his career. But Berbick wasn't fine. His struggle became evident as he tried to tie Tyson up in clinches to stop the deadly offensive. His desperation showed when, during a break, the champion resorted to a dirty move, striking Tyson. Lane, of course, couldn't ignore the foul and issued a warning. Ironically, Berbick's end came near the end of the round. Tyson landed an incredibly violent left hook to the side of Berbick's head. After a delayed reaction, the champion fell to the canvas.
Berbick trying to do all he can, but what he's not doing is holding off Mike with the left. And you see the cage. Instead he goes to the body downstairs, catches him with the right hand, up and landed. See Mike just pouring bone crusher Smith, straight jab time. Bangs the body, wow, with that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with the right left hook, and he goes down!
Berbick, dazed and struggling, searched for his fallen crown while attempting to rise. The scene turned tragic as he stumbled toward the ropes near his corner and fell again. Still making desperate efforts to stand, his arms flailed uncontrollably. Berbick staggered back toward the center of the ring where he had originally fallen, only to collapse once more. They say there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal, but Berbick proved he couldn't even handle himself. Once again, the former champion tried to get up, stumbling toward a neutral corner. By this point, the spectacle had shifted from sensational to pitiful. It was sheer agony. By the time Lane's count reached 9, Berbick had risen from the canvas. Lane took a quick look at him to see if he could continue, but instead of letting the fight go on, he embraced Berbick, holding him back, and declared the fight over. At 2 minutes and 35 seconds of the second round, Mike Tyson made history by becoming the youngest heavyweight champion ever. And what an unforgettable ending it was. Partizza closing remarks. If you've made it this far, thank you. The best way to support my content is by leaving a like on this video. Which of Tyson's legendary beatdowns was your favorite and why? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Few opponents have ever provoked personal hatred in Tyson. As a true gentleman in the ring, the young knockout machine, Iron Mike, would even assist his already defeated opponents after delivering them an abominable knockout loss. Since pugilism is a gentleman's sport, one could expect nothing less from a man who knows that sports rivalry begins and ends with the sound of the bells. However, there was one fighter who truly crossed the boundaries of sportsmanship with Iron Mike and for years became his most undesirable foe. Do you think you know the story? Stay until the end of the video to uncover every detail of the rivalry between Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history, and Tyrell Biggs, an Olympic boxing medalist. You won't believe all that lies behind this story. Content background. The origins of this rivalry date back to 1983 and 1984, when the U.S. boxing team was conducting trials to select amateur fighters who would represent the nation at the 1984 Olympic Games. Before making his epic leap into professional boxing, the young Mike Tyson was a prodigious fighter. In the ring, flashes of the greatness he would later showcase were already evident. But there was a major problem. Tyson's height wasn't the most intimidating attribute in a boxing match. Against opponents who towered over him by a head or even two, the Olympic team's trainers doubted whether his lethal power would be enough when the giants of other nations faced him in the ring. Based on the belief that size does matter, at least in some cases, young Mike saw his dreams of representing his country in the Olympics shattered despite never hiding his desire to achieve his greatest ambition, winning a gold medal for the United States. This is where Tyrell Biggs enters the scene. Biggs was the fighter selected to join the team. He possessed the key attribute the recruiters sought: good height. On the day the team was set to board the plane for the Olympic Games, Mike went to the airport to see the team off. It was there that Biggs delivered the lowest blow Tyson ever received in his career. Biggs, in a playful and mocking tone, claimed he didn't know why Tyson was at the airport that day, but one thing he was certain of: Tyson wouldn't be boarding that plane with them. For Mike, what might have been just a spicy comment stuck in his mind like a parasite, breeding hatred toward the man who had taken his place in what, at the time, was the greatest goal of his life. Already struggling to recover from the emotional blow of being unable to fulfill his dream, Mike was dealt another crushing wound, this time twisted in front of the press, friends, family, and colleagues. From that moment on, he knew he had to do something, and that something was to severely punish Tyrell Biggs for his audacity. Although fate did not grant him the chance to represent the United States, it did give him the opportunity to stand face-to-face with Biggs in a professional boxing ring at his peak. There, Tyson could show him the man that boy he mocked had grown to become. The fight years later, on October 16, 1987, Biggs once again found himself facing Mike Tyson. By this time, Tyson was not only the youngest heavyweight champion in history, but also the undisputed champion. Mike was defending the IBF heavyweight title for the first time, the WBA heavyweight title for the third time, and the WBC heavyweight title for the fourth time. There was no doubt that the boy who had been mocked at the airport years earlier had grown into a true warrior. While the Olympic Selection Committee had not been wrong in their choice, Biggs had won the gold medal in the super heavyweight division at the 1984 Olympics, they had certainly underestimated the power of a fighter whose height was not a limitation at all. In fact, in many bouts, Mike turned his lack of height into an advantage. As they say, good things come in small packages, and Tyson already had a long list of victims. His professional record stood at 31 victories with no losses, 27 of them achieved via knockout. Biggs, who debuted professionally after Tyson, also remained undefeated, boasting 15 wins, 10 of them by knockout. In the lead-up to the fight, Biggs once again decided it was a good idea to disrespect Tyson. He claimed that Tyson's professional record was built on favorable matchups, and that Mike had never fought a real puncher, someone like him. According to Biggs, he had known Tyson long before he was overrated, and claimed to know exactly how to hand him his first professional defeat. With this premise, the big day arrived. A crowd of over 12,000 gathered at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, to witness what was promoted as a genuine death match between two rivals with a shared history. The youngest heavyweight champion and the most recent Olympic medalist would put their undefeated records on the line. By the end of the night, only one could claim to have handed the other their first defeat. With Tony Orlando as the third man in the ring, the death match began. Fight summary. Tyson's fearsome left hand broke the ice in the first round, leaving Biggs with no choice but to backpedal. Biggs relied on his excellent footwork to move around the ring, but this was definitely not the response anyone expected from the Olympic medalist. Tyson followed him closely, maintaining his guard while delivering sharp blows whenever possible. Eventually, Biggs attempted to test Mike's guard with his left hand, but nothing significant enough to be memorable.
Just throw the jab like he's doing now, not to let Tyson set up. He's trying for the head now, and come with that right hand.
It was 5 years ago, but he really bothered.
There's the hook again because.
From this early point, Tyson established himself as the clear aggressor, cornering Biggs with a notorious left toward the end of the round.
Biggs started to become a stationary target, which is wrong.
Right hand by him.
Biggs continued to evade Tyson with lateral movements in the second round, but by the end of it, he had nowhere left to run.
Flies the jab. See, keeping that jab consistent, moved out. Became a stationary target. The hands again exchanged toe-to-toe, like I said earlier. You can't. And the way that Biggs is moving.
With at least 30 seconds left on the clock, Biggs attempted to clinch, but Mike blocked him, savagely attacking his body with his devastating left hand.
That's the uppercut, but you gotta come back with the right hand.
After the break, Mike shot Biggs a challenging glare, daring him to fight just before going for his head.
That was that hook I was talking about. Next should make it back to his corner. I'm sure Georgie Biggs will say, keep those hands high.
By the third round, Biggs seemed more willing to engage in close-range exchanges, which gave Tyson the opportunity to become even more lethal.
Working his body, jab like Kevin Rooney stated.
Another left hook.
Same thing, 1-2, and he throws it.
During the final minute, Tyson pursued Biggs like a predator hunting its prey, landing unstoppable left hands to the head. Biggs tried to counter with a few punches of his own, but his primary plan was still to evade Tyson around the ring.
Pointed out before the fight. And now it's Tyson.
The eye. Using his tools. He's trying to outmuscle.
Mike's left hand punished Biggs severely during the last 20 seconds. By the middle of the fourth round, Biggs had abandoned his escape plan. Staying at the center of the ring, he landed a few punches on Mike, but they lacked the power to make a significant impact. In contrast, with each devastating left hand from Tyson, Biggs seemed more and more disoriented.
The cut has not been any worse, and remember, it was a pretty good job done by Ace. He took a big left hand there.
Body movement from Tyrell Biggs now. Start throw some uppercut.
At the start of the fifth round, Tyson strode past the center of the ring to meet his challenger, who watched him approach with fear. Tyson controlled the pace of the fight and was the undeniable aggressor. He had completely abandoned targeting the giant's body and went straight for Biggs' head with relentless attacks. Biggs threw a right hook that Mike dodged with ease, making it look effortless.
Himself when he wakes up tomorrow morning.
I don't know what night. To allow Mike to dominate.
Returning to his corner, Tyson flashed a smile at the camera, a clear reflection of his satisfaction with how the bout was unfolding. Mike toyed with Biggs a little longer before finishing him off in the 7th round. Though the fight officially ended with just 1 second left in the round, it felt as though it had concluded a minute earlier. Biggs stumbled, partly from a brutal Tyson punch and partly from sheer exhaustion.
One punch.
And he's never, there's a right hand that just caught Biggs off, but he didn't put him away.
The elbow there. Oh, that punch.
That was a tremendous. On right now, he has no legs at all.
Oh, this is it.
He is gone. And 10 seconds to go in a round. There's a left hand.
After his dramatic fall to the canvas, referee Tony Orlando began the count, and Biggs rose to his feet at 9. But Biggs had already absorbed all the punishment he could take. He no longer had the energy to keep evading Tyson or to throw his ineffective jabs. Thus, the fight was declared over. At 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the 7th round, Mike Tyson defeated Tyrell Biggs by technical knockout. Without a doubt, this was one of the sweetest victories for Iron Mike, proving he was stronger and more powerful than the fighter wearing the medal that should have been his. Conclusion. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like and a comment below. What did you think of this fight? Do you think Biggs ever had a real chance of defeating Tyson, or was he just another loudmouth making promises he couldn't deliver on in the ring? I'll see you in the comments. The clowns underestimated Mike Tyson, but they paid the consequences. Intro. Mike Tyson isn't called the Iron Kid for nothing. Since his debut, fight after fight, he delivered a series of great moments to boxing fans that, even today, haven't been surpassed. To relive some of those moments, I bring you a compilation of fights where Tyson demonstrated why becoming the youngest heavyweight champion in history was destined for him. Get comfortable, because you're about to dive into a whirlwind of aggression and savagery like never before. Luckily, we'll only be spectators. Mike Tyson versus James Bone Crusher Smith. The year was 1987, and Mike Tyson had just been crowned the youngest heavyweight champion in history by the World Boxing Council. But with such recognition came bigger challenges. One of them took place on March 7th when he stepped into the ring at the Las Vegas Hilton Outdoor Arena to face James Bone Crusher Smith. Being the 7-1 favorite, this fight is fondly remembered by Iron Mike's fans as the first time he was introduced with that nickname. Smith not only had the age advantage, being 13 years older than Mike, but also an 11-inch reach advantage and 6 inches in height. This fight was part of HBO's Heavyweight Unification Tournament, as Smith was also defending his World Boxing Association heavyweight title. Mike entered the ring with an undefeated professional record of 28 victories, 26 of them by knockout. Meanwhile, Bone Crusher came in with a record of 19 wins, 14 by knockout, and 5 losses. The judges for the bout were Dalby Shirley, Jose Juan Guerra, and Lou Tabat. With Mills Lane as the third man in the ring, the fight began. Fight summary. From the first round, Smith's fighting stance was a surprise. Instead of bombarding Tyson as expected, he tried to hold him, which resulted in a point deduction by the second round. Bone Crusher's tactics frustrated Mike, leading to shoves between rounds as Tyson tried to provoke Smith's anger.
The wind of that at the commentary position right against the ring apron. There's no reason to suspect he's not the Iron Man.
However, the intensity shown in those moments rarely translated into the actual combat. Some sparks flew at the end of the first round when Tyson threw a left hook long after the bell.
And the stare from Tyson, and Bone Crusher saying, "What's this all about?"
At the start of the second round, Mike opened a cut over Smith's left eye with a headbutt. A minute later, Smith's troubles worsened when Lane penalized him for continuous holding. By the end of this round, the lack of action drew boos from the crowd of nearly 14,000. In the third round, more holding from Smith and frustration from Tyson ensued, who couldn't land a good combination. By this point, post-bell activity seemed to become routine. Bone Crusher began to retreat in the 4th round after Tyson landed a right to the head, but that was the only significant blow of the round. After rounds 5 and 6 proved uneventful, the crowd finally had a moment of excitement in the 7th round when Tyson hit the canvas, though it was just a slip.
Well, that was almost hit it.
In the 8th round, once again, Lane had to deduct a point from Smith for excessive holding. The fight dragged into the final scheduled rounds with Tyson looking for a fight and Smith evading him, causing the boos to continue. To break the monotony, Smith landed a punch in the last round, but did little else. The final bell ended the miserable fight in which both fighters had been forced to participate.
And I think Tyson did. And this will keep going after the bell.
It could have been worse, it was later said. It could have been scheduled for 15 rounds. When the referee took the center of the ring, Iron Mike was declared the winner by unanimous decision. Mike Tyson versus Donovan Razor Ruddock. Tyson and Ruddock have a history. Their first meeting took place on March 18, 1991, in the ring at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It was a heavyweight elimination bout with Jerry Roth, Chuck Giampa, and Dave Moretti serving as judges. While Mike entered the fight as the #1 heavyweight contender for the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and International Boxing Federation, Ruddock closely followed, ranked 2nd. With Richard Steele as the referee for this encounter, the fight began. Fight summary. From the sound of the bell, Mike came out of his corner with the aggression that characterized him in those days. His hard work quickly took its toll.
Well, he's ready for it. He threw his bomb. All right. Cut which missed. The big question, can Ruddock withstand the cut? It's done something. It stopped Iron Mike. What our associate minister lets them know. Tyson hitting afterwards.
As in the 2nd round, Ruddock found himself on the canvas, forced to reconsider his participation in the fight. Despite getting up and continuing, in the 3rd round, Ruddock faced another setback, hitting the canvas once again.
Good shot. He just doesn't quite get there. There's a left by Ruddock. What a counterpunch.
Tyson's violent offense continued through the rounds until the 7th, when a deadly barrage of punches sent the giant Canadian wobbling, marking the end of the fight. Faced with the tragic scene, Steele decided that Ruddock couldn't take another punch. Thus, Iron Mike was declared the winner by technical knockout at 2 minutes and 22 seconds of the 7th round.
Sounded like he hit a drum. Again, the crowd groaned. Relentless attack by Tyson. Just then, Tyson has Ruddock on the rope. Now the right combination. Steele steps in. Is it over? It's over. And Mike Tyson has defeated Razor.
Mike Tyson versus Donovan Razor Ruddock II. A few months later, on June 28, 1991, Ruddock had the chance to redeem himself by fighting Iron Mike once again. The fighters were once again called to the ring at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. For this heavyweight elimination fight, Dalby Shirley, Chuck Giampa, and Art Lurie served as judges. Tyson remained the #1 heavyweight contender for the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and International Boxing Federation. But now, Ruddock could only boast of being the 2nd-ranked heavyweight contender for the World Boxing Council. With Mills Lane as the referee for this new encounter, the fight began. Fight summary: Tyson came out of his corner with the confidence of having beaten Ruddock before, and quickly reaped the rewards.
Third man of the ring. He has one of the best lefts in the business. Good counterpunch by Tyson.
In what seemed like deja vu, Mike sent Ruddock to the canvas in the 2nd round. Ruddock managed to continue fighting, but in the 4th round, yet another setback came. Once again, Tyson's violent offense sent him to the floor. Ruddock's frustration only grew as the rounds went on. Although he made it past the 7th round, he was penalized in the 8th for hitting after the bell. Mike, on the other hand, also seemed frustrated that the fight had gone on so long. In a rash move, his attacks on Ruck led to some low blows, resulting in point deductions in the 9th and 10th rounds. With both fighters unable to finish each other off, the fight reached its conclusion.
Oh, nice counter punch by Tyson. Another right hand. Hard. Tyson digging to the ribs. Winning what round?
When the announcer took the center of the ring, Iron Mike was declared the winner by unanimous decision from the judges. Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinx. 3 years earlier, on June 27, 1988, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring at the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey to face Michael Spinx. This was one of the most iconic matches of the decade, billed as Once and For All. It was a fight between two undefeated fighters, each with a legitimate claim to the World Heavyweight Championship. Additionally, Spinx was defending his The Ring Heavyweight title for the 4th time, while Mike was defending the International Boxing Federation Heavyweight title for the 4th time, the World Boxing Association Heavyweight title for the 6th time, and the World Boxing Council Heavyweight title for the 7th time. Therefore, the winner of the bout would gain exclusive possession of the title. The judges for the fight were Rocky Castellani, Jon Stewart, and Eva Shane. Mike entered the ring with a perfect record of 34 wins, 30 of them by knockout, while Spinx followed closely with 31 wins, 21 of them by knockout. With Frank Cappuccino as the 3rd man in the ring, once and for all, the fight began. Fight summary. 21-year-old Tyson shone in the ring. When the opening bell rang, he charged forward and threw a left hook that caught Spinx high on the head. At that moment, the ring champion wasn't thinking of a peaceful retreat, but rather of grabbing hold of Mike with his arms. In their first clinch, Cappuccino intervened after noticing one of Mike's glove laces resting on Spinx's throat. Moments later, Spinx, who now appeared to be just a challenger, tried to back away but had his head snapped back by a hard left uppercut. Still reeling from that first blow, Spinx was then hit with a short, spinning right hook that landed just below his heart. At that point, the ring saw its champion fall to his knees. It was the first knockdown in Michael Spinx's professional career.
Michael Spinx has to keep moving because every shot... uppercut landed!
With Cappuccino counting, he got back on his feet by the count of 4. Still, Frank counted to the regulatory 8 and asked if he was fit to continue, staring into his eyes. When the fight resumed, Tyson returned to his aggressive stance. Spinx attempted to defend himself with a right hand, but it was too weak and his movements too slow. Tyson threw a left hook at shoulder level over Spinx's uncertain hand. The clash of these two forces sent Spinx head forward and down, where Mike caught it with a right hand that arced at waist height and connected squarely with the jaw. Spinx's eyes rolled back and his legs trembled. With his arms stretched out, he collapsed to the canvas. He tried to get up as Cappuccino counted, but he fell onto his right side. By the time Cappuccino reached 10, Spinx's head was resting against the bottom rope. In just 1 minute and 31 seconds, Tyson defeated the, until then, undefeated Michael Spinx by knockout. Mike Tyson versus Trevor Berbick. Another heavyweight champion who failed to successfully defend his title against the young knockout machine, Iron Mike, was Trevor Berbick. To relive this bout, we must go back to November 22, 1986. That night, in the ring at the Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson challenged Trevor Berbick in what would be his first defense of the World Boxing Council heavyweight title. The fight was billed as Judgment Day, and the crowd of over 8,800 people knew they were about to witness history. In the worst-case scenario for Mike, his epic undefeated streak would come to an end. With Mills Lane as the 3rd man in the ring, Judgment Day took place. Fight summary. When the bell rang, Iron Mike went into beast mode and charged at Berbick. Although the first round was highly explosive, the real damage to the reigning champion didn't come until the following round. In it, Iron Mike's relentless offense left Berbick stumbling around the ring as if he were caught in a cosmic loop. It all began when Mike knocked Berbick to the canvas with a fearless series of punches that ended with a powerful left hook. Berbick crashed to the mat but quickly got up, signaling to Mills Lane, who was closely watching, that he could continue the fight.
Championship of the world, Trevor Berbick and Mike Tyson. Tyson goes to work right away, and he gets Trevor in trouble, and he's done 8 count as he steps right up the counts to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
Unknowingly, Berbick was only signing himself up for an inevitable and irreversible punishment. It was evident that the champion was not in good shape. Berbick's inability was exposed as he tried to tie Tyson up in clinches to stop his aggressive drive toward a victory that already seemed promised. Even Berbick's desperation was clear when, in the middle of a break, he threw a punch at his challenger. That bold move earned him nothing but a stern warning from Lane.
Here's that belt. Wild on the breaking news. Lane warns Trevor about it. Trevor trying to do all he can, but what he's not doing is holding off Mike with a left. And you see the light left cage. Instead he goes to the body downstairs, catches him with the right hand. Up.
Ironically, his end came at the close of the round. Suddenly, a deadly left hook from Tyson landed on Berbick's temple, and after a delayed reaction, he collapsed onto the seat of his trunks. Berbick was not willing to lose his crown so easily, so he truly fought to get back on his feet. However, all he did was stumble toward the ropes near his corner, where he collapsed helplessly. Berbick tried to straighten up, his arms flailing. The scene became even more chaotic as Berbick staggered back to the center of the ring where he had initially fallen, only to crash back down onto the canvas.
Bangs the body. Wow, that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down. He got to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. And Trevor back in the rope. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there.
Determined not to give up his title, the champion once again tried to stand, stumbling toward a neutral corner. By that point, Lane's very lenient count had already reached 9. Against all odds, Berbick had gotten back up from the canvas at that moment. Lane didn't hesitate to quickly examine Berbick, only to realize that sending him back into the fight would be like leading him to slaughter. With nothing else to do, Lane hugged Berbick and stopped the fight. At 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the second round, 20-year-old Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history by defeating Trevor Berbick by technical knockout. It's said that when he got into the ring, Iron Mike told his team, "I am the youngest heavyweight champion in history, and I will be the oldest." Do you believe in the idea that if you manifest something, it comes true? Mike Tyson versus Larry Holmes. And before I let you go, I have one more shocking fight to share. Once Mike became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, he had to prove he was worthy of the title's pride and defended against the long list of challengers eager to take a shot at the great Iron Mike. On January 22, 1988, the unlucky challenger who stepped into the ring at the Atlantic City Convention Center in New Jersey was Larry Holmes. Tyson, at 21 years old, was 17 years younger than the 38-year-old Holmes, who had been out of the ring for 21 months. This fight would determine whether experience outweighed the wild spirit of youth. Mike had to defend his International Boxing Federation heavyweight title for the second time, his World Boxing Association heavyweight title for the 4th time, and his World Boxing Council heavyweight title for the 5th time. With the legendary Joe Cortez as the 3rd man in the ring, the fight began. Silence. Fight summary: Tyson, already the undisputed champion, was the aggressor throughout the first round. As soon as the bell rang, he came out of his corner with a clear offensive plan, determined to make Holmes regret even thinking about taking his belts. By the second round, Mike had gained enough confidence to allow Holmes to breathe and throw some punches of his own, though Holmes never posed a real threat.
Questions: if in fact Larry can nail Tyson, how long can his legs stay strong? There's a lot of pressure on him.
The third round was total domination by Tyson, who proved that the vitality of youth's wild spirit was stronger than years of experience. However, it wasn't until the 4th round that Mike cornered Holmes and stopped him once and for all. With a powerful right hand, Tyson put Holmes in serious trouble. The right landed squarely on Holmes' chin, sending him crashing to the seat of his trunks, right in Tyson's corner.
Continue that round after round. Oh, a big right hand, and down goes.
Cortez counted to 4 before Holmes got to his feet, grabbing the ropes. Cortez counted to the full 8 and watched Holmes shake his head as if trying to clear his thoughts. When the fight resumed, the wounded veteran let go of the ropes to face Mike, who was already moving toward him. Tyson threw punches left and right, trying to land the final blow. Suddenly, another strong right hand from Mike sent the fading veteran crashing against the ropes and back down to the mat. This time, Cortez counted to 5 before Holmes got up. When the fight resumed, Tyson seemed determined to finish him off once and for all. The young knockout machine threw punch after punch, repeatedly snapping Holmes' head back, while ringside assistants were screaming for the fight to end. Cortez allowed the fighters to continue as Holmes tried to escape, with Tyson chasing him. Inevitably, another strong right hand from Mike knocked Holmes down, and as soon as his almost lifeless body hit the canvas, Cortez waved the fight over. At 2 minutes and 55 seconds into the 4th round, Tyson defeated Larry Holmes by technical knockout.
Be hanging on! Now with the right hand, the left hand! He's gonna hang on! And he'll stop the fight! Down he goes!
After the defeat, Holmes didn't fight for over 3 years. However, he returned in 1991 and remained active until 2002. Closing. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Which of these incredible Tyson victories was your favorite? What other fight do you think I should revisit in a part 2 of this video? I'll see you in the comments.